Food insecurity means the person does not know where the next meal is coming from. Right now, back a couple years ago, it was 1 in 10 in Sarasota. Now it's roughly 1 in 5 people, your neighbors, don't know where the next meal is coming from. So we call that the new hungry.
The majority of the people we serve have at least one person working in the household. Many people are under the false impression that people who receive food assistance are, not working because they choose not to work. Most of the people that we serve are just not quite making it. They need just a little help towards the end of the week. Their bills are such that they're just living paycheck to paycheck, or perhaps a spouse was laid off in these economic times, or someone was ill, or now an elderly parent is living with them. There are all kinds of scenarios that make people reach out for that first time food assistance, and it's not easy for them.
I've seen grown men come here and cry and say, I've worked my whole life, I've lost my job, I can't feed my children, and it's embarrassing. And I try to tell them it's not your fault. It's not something that you can control. And you can have all the food that you want. Anything that you need, we'll give it to you.
No one should ever be embarrassed to ask for food, because that's why we're here, is to give food. But very often we are finding first-time clients. We even have people who used to be donors who are now recipients of our food.
The infrastructure of food banks and the agencies that we serve, if that was just to go away, it would be absolutely devastating. The government couldn't keep up. I mean, we would have people literally robbing grocery stores. It would be, you're trying to help your family, so you will do anything.
What we do is we provide staple food to individuals to take home and cook. We include with that produce and bread, things to go with the meal, but we can actually create a meal for someone for just 63 cents, where you or I would pay almost $2 for the same amount of food. So we love the food donations, and we could not do it without it, but the cash donations really can go far, because, as I mentioned, for $6.30, that's 10 meals. So we're pretty proud of that.
Typical day at All Faiths Food Bank starts at 7 o'clock. The drivers arrive, they load their trucks, and then they go off and make their deliveries with a list of places that are going to pick up, obviously the deliveries and pickups. And then about 9 o'clock, our volunteers come in and they sort the food. They look at the canned goods, make sure they're okay, box them up, and then store them onto pallets. And then one of the staff will come in and pull the pallet out and set it out in the warehouse in the storage area where it belongs, so that during the day our warehouse people actually pull orders that are given to us by the agencies for next day delivery. And that is a typical day at All Faiths Food Bank.
We get our food 3 different ways. We have food drives, and people drop off food. That's called salvage food, it just means free. That food comes in miscellaneous boxes and bags, all mixed up categories. So when it arrives here at the food bank, it's weighed and placed into our sorting room, where our volunteers sort through it into specific categories such as canned soup, vegetables, meat, complete meals, etc. The second way is we purchase food from large canneries and distribution companies, super cheap, because we're nonprofit and because we buy in bulk. We get a really good deal. So that's the second way we get our food. The third way is large retailers donate food to us, such as Publix, Sam's, Walmart, so many in town.
Well, in Sarasota County, there are about 325,000 people. And as we talked before, about 1 in 5 are food insecure. And we have 50,000 children in our community, which means 10,000 children in our community are food insecure. And we have some tremendous programs to help these children.
We have wonderful volunteers. We could not do what we do without them. They are very dedicated. We have some that have been working with us for 10 or 15 years. They really treat it as a job. They're very serious about it. They know how important it is. As I said, we move 9,700 meals a day through this facility. We could not do that without our volunteers. So they are amazing, and they really treat it as a social gathering. They know each other. They get together afterwards. Some of them are seniors. If maybe one doesn't show up, they call to check on them. It's very much like a family.
Our funding comes from ordinary people. We have about 21,000 people that donate to us on a regular basis. The $50 check, the $100 check, the $5 check. And that sustains us. We don't receive any federal money to do what we do. We don't receive any state money. people ask me, should I just go down to Sam's and buy food? And I tell them, well, if you give me $10, I can get $40 worth of food. So your dollar is quadrupled because of our buying power, because of the network. We actually order from the same places that Publix and Winn-Dixie's do. Because we're ordering tractor-trailer loads at a time. So it's very efficient. If a person would rather write a check, it's actually better because then we can buy the things that we need. We have a saying, hunger knows no season. People are hungry all year long. And that's why we depend on the community all year long to donate to us. And hunger does not know race, creed, or color. Anybody can be hungry. So we serve, that's why we're All Faiths Food Bank. We're not a religious organization in any way, but we started in 1989. A group of pastors, rabbis, priests, ministers got together and said there is a problem in this community. And they came up with the name All Faiths Food Bank, and we truly are all faiths. We do not discriminate. We serve everybody.